This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2012 Jeep Liberty Sport. Up front is a 3.7 liter V6, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Jeep Liberty because I haven't reviewed one before, and I always like to bring new and interesting vehicles to the channel whenever I can. So let's knock this Jeep Liberty off the list. But before we get on with anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, if you guys would like to submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me, or if you'd like to buy merch, or if you'd like to check out my behind the scenes blog posts. I talk about what vehicles I'm filming that week, some of my behind the scenes thoughts, and other little things like that. But let's get back to that 3.7 liter V6 under the hood. It makes 210 horsepower and is a single overhead cam engine from the Chrysler Group. Now that's sort of interesting because this here in 2012, this Jeep Liberty, is before the Fiat era. Now, Jeep's entry-level vehicle, the Renegade, is a rebadged Fiat. Of course, it has been redesigned a little bit, but its guts, its core is still very much Fiat. And so that's what people know nowadays. If you want an entry-level Jeep, you're getting a rebadged Fiat product. But that wasn't the case here with this Liberty in 2012 and Liberties before that. And so this gets a big V6. 3.7 liters is not small. And it's okay, it's fine, it doesn't really bother me all that much. But for a 3.7 liter just making barely above 200 horsepower, it's a little sad. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic transmission. It's a Chrysler transmission. It's okay. You'd find this transmission in like older Chargers and Challengers and the Ram for a little bit. This was a pretty bread and butter 4-speed that they tossed into anything that they wanted to have a simple automatic. Now in my history, has Dodge or Jeep, Chrysler, whatever you want to call it, have they made the best transmissions in the world? No, that's why nowadays they outsource that to ZF, who does make fantastic transmissions, but these are not the best in the world. Last but not least, this is 4-wheel drive. We'll talk about how to select that a little bit later on. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. On the left is my fuel. Then I have my speedometer, tachometer, and coolant temperature. Interesting thing about the tachometer is that there's not only a red line, but there's actually a green line. This is to try to encourage you to drive as eco-friendly as possible. Does it work? I'll let you be the judge. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my voice commands and phone options, as well as my step and reset buttons. And on the right, I have my cruise control settings. I also do have buttons around the back for skip, track, and volume. Pretty typical for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. At this point, our 2004 Chrysler Pacifica at home has these same around the back buttons. The steering wheel itself is fine. It has this very hard leather around the outside, very basic, but this is the Sport, and Sport means base model. Off to the left, I do have a little storage compartment and a vent, and on the door, I have my power mirrors, power windows, and of course, power locks. You also get this grab handle to close the door. Kind of looks like brass knuckles to me a little bit. Moving into the center, I have another awkward storage area. I have 2 climate control vents, and then I have the radio itself. I don't mind this radio, especially for 2012. I do have aux inputs, which is nice. But something funny is that I do have a music type button, so you can actually cycle through genres when surfing your radio stations. Kind of interesting there. Then I have the climate controls themselves, nice and bulky. I really like the feeling of these knobs. They feel very, very solid, but I do have fan speed, temperature, and where to send it. Something slightly annoying is the fact that the fan speed button just does have a regular car and not a Jeep on it. I would have liked a little bit more attention to detail, but that's okay. Before we move further down the center stack, I do want to talk about the airbag for a second. It's kind of open, kind of speaks to the build quality of these Jeeps. Moving back to the center stack, I do have my traction control off, hill descent control, hazard switch, and passenger airbag on and off, as well as I have a 12-volt outlet. Moving down to the center console, this is where you'll find your shifter. It does have a tow haul mode, and this shifter has been used in tons of Jeep and Dodge and Chrysler products since the dawn of time, and I'm pretty familiar with it. I don't mind it. It is what it is. But off to the left, I do have my four-wheel drive settings. So I have two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive lock, and 4-low. I do really like this control for it. Again, this part feels very solid. Although it is chipping paint a little bit, I think it looks nice either way. Then down below that, there's a little cubby area. And moving down below all of that, I have my handbrake, another little coin holder thing, and then we have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Jeep Liberty from 2012. And just as I suspected, it did indeed pass the big friggin' bottle test. Look at that. Then we do have a center console with a CD in it, I guess. But you can pull that little tray out, and it does go a lot deeper for a lot more storage options. The seats are okay. They're not the most comfortable things in the world, but again, you have to remember that this is the Sport. These are not the upgraded seats. These are the base model seats that everyone and their mom got if they got a Liberty, unless they upgraded. So they're pretty basic. They're black cloth. They look presentable, and especially after 115,000 miles, it seems as though they've held up pretty well. Speaking of seats, however, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2012 Jeep Liberty Sport, and a couple of things to note back here. First of all, I do have two cup holders. They will not fit the big friggin' bottle, but I do have two cup holders back here. I don't get a center console, and that's really it. I don't get anything back here, and my voice is getting sexy. Yeah. Now, because it's a Sport, it only comes with 4 speakers instead of 6 speakers on the upper trim levels. So, unfortunately, it doesn't have those 6 speakers, and I get 2 on the doors back here and 2 up front. Nothing else to really write home about back here. Nothing really interesting, crazy, or fun. But let's go take a quick look at the cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Jeep Liberty, and I do have this button for the window, so I can just open up the rear window, which is really, really nice. I absolutely love this feature. One of the best features of the Liberty. Other SUVs have it, of course, as well, but really, really great there, especially if you have something that's like rolling around back here, a bunch of beach balls, whatever it might be, and you don't want them rolling out the back, or for pets, great for that as well. So we can close that. And then I have the actual tailgate. It's just a handle down there. And now we are in the back. I do get this little tray, pop that lock up, and there you go. You get a nice little tray under there, and then you just kind of do that. These are, of course, the floor mats because this is a used vehicle, but I get some tie downs, fantastic. I could open up that rear window, use the tie downs, and make this into a camera car, which is really nice, and honestly what I would do if I owned one of these. Really good rear space. Plenty of space back here. Honestly, for a smaller SUV, I'm very, very impressed. Little handle up here, close it like that, and there we go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I honestly do think the Liberty looks good. I like this era of Jeep visually. I think it looks interesting. I think it looks macho and yet not overstated. It doesn't look like it's trying to be anything more than it really is. And I like that. You know, I've also seen these Jeep Liberty lights retrofitted to older XJ Jeeps or things like that. So it's kind of cool to see those headlights. I like them a lot. And I think overall, it looks really good. It looks very much like a Jeep, which is good because it is one. But now let's get to my final thoughts here on the Jeep Liberty. What do I think? Well, if you could tell by this video, I'm not over the moon by it. But to be fair, I'm not really over the moon by any Jeep besides their 2 core meals, the Grand Cherokee and the Wrangler. We can also throw the Gladiator in there because it's basically a Wrangler, and we can also throw the new Wagoneer in there because it's basically a Grand Cherokee. I've never been impressed by any of Jeep's other products. Any of their mid-tier vehicles just seem like they don't really care, but also at the same time they're trying too hard. Here in the US, and to be fair, worldwide, Jeep has this reputation. That's what we won World War II with, was the Jeep. And off of that, they have been the final word in off-roading for the last 30, 40 years at least. They used to be made by AMC, which stood for American Motor Company. And then Chrysler bought them and made it the brand that it is today. Again, something with such high regard worldwide as these off-road vehicles. And the Wrangler definitely deserves that praise. It is fantastic off-road. And the Grand Cherokee is fantastic, wicked fun. The new Grand Cherokee L that I drove, Summit Reserve, fantastic automobile, one of my favorite cars that I reviewed in 2021. But then there's the little scraps down at the bottom. The cars that don't quite have the prowess as the Wrangler or Grand Cherokee. Sure, they might still say trail rated on the side, but that's an award given to Jeeps from Jeep. I mean, if you look up the textbook definition of self-congratulatory, you'll see a trail-rated badge. This was not some outside organization. Jeep gives the trail-rated badge to itself. It's easy to come first when there's only one in the running. My point being is that it feels to me like Jeep is just capitalizing on their reputation to build vehicles like this. Can these Jeep Liberties go off-road? Yes. But so can my Mazda 3 hatchback. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. And that's not helped out by the fact that I see a lot of parts bin parts in here. The radio is out of every other Jeep of the same era. Like I said, the fan speed controls doesn't even have a Jeep on it. You could have used one from a Wrangler at least. That would have been a little bit better. To me, at least this generation of Jeep Liberty feels like I couldn't get a Wrangler. I don't want to live with a Wrangler, so I'll get the little brother. I'll get the other Jeep product. I still want that Jeep name. I like telling people at the bar, oh, what do you drive? I drive a Jeep. And they automatically start thinking of taking the top off and going to the beach, taking the doors off and summer fun. And that scene from Zoolander where they are at the gas station and hopping out and having fun. But then, as you walk them out to the parking lot, there's gonna come a hard moment where you have to tell them, no, it's not a Wrangler. It's a Liberty. This is a Jeep Liberty. But unfortunately, there is not justice for all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Jeep Liberty. I'm glad I was able to get this under my belt, and I do want to drive other Jeep Liberties. I haven't completely written off other Jeeps. I'd like to experience more. I'd like to experience all the Jeeps I physically can, and I am doing that through the help of Toyota of Naperville. If you guys are looking for a new vehicle, please reach out to them. They have tons of vehicles not only on the lot, not only fantastic new Toyotas like the new Toyota Corolla Cross or the brand new redesigned Tundra, but they also have other fantastic vehicles. Please give them a look if you're looking for a new car or used vehicle. Toyota Naperville should be your first stop. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.